Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglund, and we are broadcasting from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks beautiful Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It is another great day here in the Twin Cities, and I am so grateful to be here with you, and I hope all of you listening are doing well. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Ann Suplee. She is a Care Services Manager at the ALS Association, and she's here today to talk about the programs and services of the ALS Association. ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive disease that causes individuals to lose their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. The ALS Association is committed to making ALS livable until a cure is found. So you're going to enjoy listening to this conversation today with Ann. She is so passionate about the work that great organization does, the ALS Association. So please, you will enjoy listening to this conversation today. I want to thank all of you that leave us messages on our radio show phone line. We so appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and topics for future shows. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us at 612-999-3426. You can also contact us on our website at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about upcoming guests as well as listen to our previous shows, and we look forward to hearing from you. We are also adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our radio shows on the AM 950 radio website, and we can also be found on podcast streaming services such as Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and, of course, many others. You can also watch our broadcast live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio. If you have a question for us today, there are two ways to reach us. First, by calling the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show producer, Patrick, will get your call on the air. Our phone number is 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. Or you can directly text us your question at 612-999-3426. Now, don't worry. If you missed our contact numbers, I'll repeat them throughout the show. All right. I want to introduce and welcome my guest for today's show, Ann Suplee, Care Services Manager at the ALS Association. Welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, this is, as we were talking off the air, I've been doing this for 7 years now, and you're the first person from the ALS Association to be here. I've had a number of organizations over the years. Been so grateful for their time on a Saturday to come and share the mission of the organization and some of the great work they're doing. And you guys have kind of crept into my life here a little bit here, because just recently we've had more and more patients on our services with ALS. And so myself and my colleagues in our organization, we're learning more about ALS. And so it was like perfect timing to get a hold of you guys and say, come on the show and let's help our audience learn more about ALS and how and ways that they can support the great work that the association is doing. So before we jump into all that great stuff here, the audience loves to hear about you. Could you just give us a bit about your background?
It is varied. I've done so many different things. I first got connected to the ALS Association before my current stint. I worked there for a couple years. My friend and neighbor, his mom had ALS and lived in Washington State, and he was on the board, and they needed a volunteer program created. And he said, you could do that. And I said, okay.
It always comes from I'll volunteer you.
Exactly. And I'm proud to say that volunteer program is still going strong. We'll get back to that. And then I left there and worked with an organization that supports youth who are experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness. And I worked there for couple years, and then I was actually teaching first day school. I'm a Quaker. It's what we call Sunday school. And the kids kept talking about what it was to be a person of faith and what they were hearing in school. And that sent me to seminary. I was like, I don't know how to answer these questions.
These are big questions.
These are big questions. So I went to seminary and then became a chaplain. Yeah. So I did a year of clinical work. And as I was doing that, I had dinner with my coworkers at the ALS, my former coworkers at the ALS Association. There were two of them when I left, and talking about what I did, and they said, "You need to come back." And so I took the job. They were looking for a social worker.
Okay.
And I took the job description and I rewrote it and sent it back to them. I said, "You don't need you have social workers. You need a chaplain."
Wow.
And they hired me. I had a pretty rigorous interview process, and I've been there 16 years now. It'll be 17 in September.
Wow, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And how great is that for the association?
Well,
wow.
And one of the people I worked with, we stick around.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Well, isn't that something, too? I've noticed that with a lot of organizations, people, well, even my world, hospice, people are drawn to it. They're called to it. They have a passion for it, and they stick with it. And I find a lot of times that happens mid-career.
I think that's true.
It's like we come to a point where we realize it's not so much what we do, it's who we do it with.
Right.
And that's a famous saying from somebody that I don't know who it was, but I tell you, I see that more and more throughout my career and working with people. It's really working with people that have a similar passion.
It is.
And it just makes it all worthwhile.
And my coworkers are extraordinary people.
Yeah, I bet.
I also really appreciate, as a chaplain, a lot of work is done in hospital settings where you see people once, or hospice,
yes.
where it's a very intense period. And for me, I get to meet people when they're diagnosed and journey with them for 6 months, 2 years, 20 years, whatever it is.
Right.
And I really appreciate getting to know people in a significant way.
An intimate, significant way. It's interesting. As I'm involved with all kinds of clinical people, and one of the things that they don't like, and that they do like coming to hospice, is, let's say it's ER room or whatever. They never know whatever happened to that patient. They again, very intense situation. Mm-hmm. They care for them. There's an awareness that this is critical time, but then they leave. Mm-hmm. And they never know what happened. And I think especially with like the nursing communities and things, there is this real relationship connection that they like. I mean, it makes their job so much more satisfying. And so at least with hospice, even though it can be really short, it can be longer too. Mm-hmm. And they get a chance to really, having a smaller caseload, they only have, let's say, a dozen or so patients that they are really working with to support. And they really love that, getting to really be a part of that person's life.
Exactly. And that person's family, right?
Absolutely.
You get to meet
everybody.
The people who are important to them.
Right, who are supporting the patient.
That feels really good too.
Yeah. No, it's I always say we serve multiple constituencies with the work that we do, the work that you do, and that's why it's so great to have people like you with a passion for helping a very specific area of need in the healthcare community. So that's fantastic. So almost 17 years at the association.
16. It'll be 17 later this year, or next year.
Yeah, next year. Wow, fantastic. And you're looking forward to another 20 years there, I hope.
Well, hopefully I won't have a job in 20 years.
Well, you know what? I joke about that, right?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we find a cure for this horrible disease.
That we have a treatment by 2030. That ALS is a livable disease by 2030. Yeah. And so, I mean, that would be great to work my way out of out of a job.
Boy, yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine hospice working its way out. We would never die.
No. Well, right. Hospice is not going away.
Hospice is not going away. No, and in fact, it's only growing because people are getting a little bit more familiar and they're open to conversations about it. But still, I always tell people half of the population that dies this year will die without hospice across not just Minnesota but across the country. And it's still there's a huge opportunity for us to keep increasing awareness of the benefits of hospice, just like with you guys. And we have just a few seconds here before the end of the break here, but when we come back, let's talk about the history of ALS and the organization and the things that brought you and us to this point in time. All right, folks, it's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Ann Suplee. She is a care services manager at the ALS Association, and she's here to talk about the programs and services available through the ALS Association. ALS, also known as the Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive disease that causes individuals to lose their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. If you have a question for Ann, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Supporting the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities has never been easier. You'll find an expansive list of local dining options at eatlocalminnesota.com, from classic American comfort food to authentic flavors from around the world. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck. The Great Wall restaurant is located off 45th and France, with takeout available too. More at greatwallrestaurant.us. Nightingale on 26th and Lyndale is the ultimate venue for unforgettable gatherings. Whether big or small, your event will be a hit with delicious food and drinks served in a warm and inviting atmosphere. Plus, Chef Carrie's special creations add that extra touch. Craft cocktails, curated drinks, and a diverse menu make Nightingale perfect for any celebration. More at nightingalempls.com.
Hey everyone, this is longtime AM 950 host Ellie Krug. I'm thrilled to announce my brand new show, The Illegal Trans Woman, which takes advocacy from my community, transgender and gender variant people, up several big notches. The Illegal Trans Woman will feature interviews, commentary, and information aimed at pushing back against efforts to oppress trans and gender variant humans. Please tune in on Saturdays at 4 or wherever you go to get your podcasts. And do me a favor, share about the show. Thanks!
You are so much more than a consumer, so why support one dominant e-store that runs the world? How about an online shopping market where you can buy a wood ornament and a tree is planted, fun socks supporting the Humane Society, or pride flags and earrings and candles supporting human rights? A place to buy panache juices sourced from sustainable orchards in Minnesota. Discover Coscart.com. Coscart is offering free local delivery in the Twin Cities when you enter pickup at checkout until December 20th. When you shop Coscart, you're supporting artisans, nonprofits, socially conscious businesses, and yourself. Every item reflects a commitment to positive change. Coscart uses biodegradable and recyclable packaging and invests in carbon credits. Coscart, one conscious choice at a time. Discover the joys of shopping with purpose. Visit cos-cart.com today. Free local delivery in the Twin Cities when you enter pickup at checkout until December 20th. Visit cos-cart.com today.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything.
Except your intelligence.
Coming up, is optimism rational?
You're asking me if it's rational to be optimistic? With democracy under siege and the world on fire?
How are we going to change any of that if we don't believe we can?
You think you're going to convince me with that argument?
Hope springs eternal.
Is optimism rational? Next time on Philosophy Talk.
Catch Philosophy Talk every Sunday morning at 8 on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
All right, welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Ann Suplee. She is a Care Services Manager at the ALS Association, and she is here to talk about the programs and services available through the ALS Association. I just want to remind people that ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, and it's a progressive disease that causes individuals to lose their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. That's a horrible disease, isn't it, Ann?
It is, and I do need to have a caveat that not every person experiences it in the same way. So some people, their first symptom is that they have slurred speech. Others, it's that they can't, they find there's something not working with my foot. And so some people talk up until they die. So it's really different in every person, which I think sort of makes it more complicated because people want to know what their progression is going to look like, and we really can't tell them.
You can't tell them. Oh, my gosh. That's frustrating. Well, Ann, how can our listeners contact your organization if they have questions or want more information?
Sure. Our website is very simple, als.org.
All right. And we do have the ALS.org pulled up here in the studio, and I encourage people who are listening to look at that too. It is a great resource.
Thank you. It's our web people deserve a lot of credit because it's much clearer than it used to be. And then on the top right corner, you can choose your state where you live to get more specific information about your state.
Yes. My state is Minnesota, so we're in Minnesota. That's looking good. And we might as well mention, too, in the upper right-hand corner, there is a donate.
There is.
Button. Could you talk about that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. Our donations go toward our programs, which I'll talk about too, and help us support folks. When someone is diagnosed with ALS, we provide their durable medical equipment. So if they need a tub bench or a shower chair or a lift, that all comes from us, and we use those dollars to support people. Wow. I actually want to put a plug out for batteries for power wheelchairs. When we typically ask people to go through insurance to get their power wheelchair, but some people are already in a nursing home, they've already enrolled in hospice, and they can't do that. So we do have some, and the batteries die, and it's $600 for a new power wheelchair battery. Yes. Well, if anybody has an extra $600 in their pocket, we will take it.
Right. Wow. No, that is true. Those power packs, and they're high amperage. I know a little bit about that from some of the things that we end up getting involved with at hospice. And you're right, that is so critical. I mean, the chair is expensive, but those batteries are really helpful. So, if anybody this time of year is looking to donate to a great cause, we encourage you to go to als.org, and in the upper right-hand corner there's a red donate button with a heart. So feel free to do it. And you guys are a 501(c)(3).
We are.
So donations are tax deductible?
They are. And my coworkers Karen and Chantel will make sure that happens. I do nothing with that.
Right. You got specialists that handle that side of it. No, that's great. Well, we talked a little bit about you in the first segment here. The second segment, it'd be great to talk a little bit more about the ALS organization, the history. You had mentioned earlier, anybody who, Lou Gehrig, that was before my time, but it seems like people do know that name, such an amazing name, especially for people that were living at that time, because he was literally on the top of the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was the world's most known athlete at that time, and when he came down with it during his playing career, right, which is really, amazing.
And if you go back and listen to the Luckiest Man speech, it is extraordinary.
Yes,
He's so
it is
eloquent.
Right up there. Yeah. No, and I would encourage. Do you guys have that speech on the?
I don't think we do. That's a good idea.
I was thinking it'd be great to have it as part of the resources or information or about us, because you're right. That is a powerful speech, and I would encourage people to just look that up online.
At the beginning of every baseball season, Major League Baseball is still a significant supporter of the ALS Association. And so at the beginning of baseball season, they usually come, we usually collaborate and come out.
Oh, fantastic.
And that speech gets recited.
Wow. It's so important to remember, especially in this day and age where there's just we're drowned in data. Messaging and advertising and marketing, and it's crazy. Yeah. And it's just it's so important to step back and reflect a little bit from the day-to-day frenzy that goes on, and the Martin Luther Kings and the Lou Gehrig's, and there's these epic speeches that Abraham Lincoln's.
Very just profound.
That just it's so easy to forget the depth of those, and the best speeches are usually the shortest speeches, right?
Exactly.
So some of these are all just really short speeches, and it's great. So anyway, thank you for remembering that.
Of course, you mentioned stepping back, so I will step back and say, we've known about ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, since the 1860s. And the ALS Association in the United States actually got started in 1985. So we're coming up on 40 years, which is very exciting.
It's a generation.
It is. That's right. That's right. Here in Minnesota, shout out to Kent Herbeck, who was a part of getting things off the ground here in Minnesota. And a couple of years ago, we unified. So we used to be chapters all over the country. And a couple of years ago, we unified, so we are one organization serving everyone with ALS with, as you said in the beginning, the goal is really to make ALS a livable disease and have the programs and services consistent for everyone everywhere so that everyone can tap into the same resources.
It's great that, Kent Herbeck, I went to high school with him, and just a huge proponent of the ALS Association, and he's been been a great advocate for that. Let's say this, because I know we got to take a quick break here. But when we get back, we'll talk more about the programs and services, and we'll get more into that. So, all right, folks, it's time for a short break. I know these segments go by so fast, and we'll get back here shortly, and we'll talk more about the amazing work of the ALS Association. We'll continue our conversation with Ann Suplee, a care services manager at the ALS Association, and she's here to talk about the programs and services available through the ALS Association. If you have a question, please feel free to give us a call. Ann would love to talk to you, and you can reach us at 952-946-6205, or you can text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hey, it's Patrick. Is your home ready for the holidays? 'Tis the season to be jolly, and nothing makes me jollier than a clean home. With the holidays right around the corner, it's time to get ready for friends and family, and what better way to do that than with my friends at Zero Res? If you've never had Zero Res over at your home, take it from us. Zero Res was just out at the station to clean our carpets this past month. They're great to work with, our carpets look great, and they even got some spots out that we didn't think would come out. They were on-time professional, and we loved working with them, and the station looks great. So if you're looking for help getting your home into holiday shape, give our friends at Zero Res a call at 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com. This month, get 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at just $129 and take $75 off of an air duct cleaning. That's ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZERO-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. The holidays are coming soon, so don't wait and book now.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth. how do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
Hi everyone, Matt McNeil here. 4 years ago, we came out with the first AM 950 calendar. Now get ready for the 5th edition. It's the 2025 AM 950 calendar, featuring photos I've taken across Minnesota, plus important dates in both progressive and AM 950 history. All new and current sustaining members who make a recurring donation of $10 will receive an AM 950 2025 calendar as a thank you. If you make a monthly recurring contribution of $25 or more, you'll receive a thank you of both the AM 950 calendar and a signed copy of Tom Hartman's latest book. Make a one-time $30 donation, you'll get a calendar as a thank you, or make a one-time $100 donation, you'll receive both the AM 950 calendar and a signed Tom Hartman book as a thank you. It's really simple to become a member of AM 950. Go to our webpage, am950radio.com, click on the membership button, and sign up. The website has all the details on the different levels, the 2025 calendar, and Tom's book. Thank you to everyone who, over the last 5 years, has continued to help support AM 950, one of the last true progressive radio stations in the country. Thanks for keeping AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, on the air.
Celebrate the holiday season with Open Eye Theater's Scrooge and Rouge, a hilarious twist on the classic Christmas Carol. Last year's critically acclaimed hit musical returns with outrageous costumes, sassy lyrics, and side-splitting performances by an all-star cast. It's guaranteed to get your spirits soaring. Scrooge and Rouge runs through December 29th. Get your tickets now at openeyetheater.org. Again, that's tickets at openeyetheater.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Snow and freezing rain expected this afternoon with a high of 29. Then tonight, cloudy with a low of 28. The AM 950 calendar is back for 2025 as a thank you to all of those who have become members at AM 950. The calendars feature the fantastic photography of Matt McNeil and important progressive dates. Head over to am950radio.com to see how you can get yours.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Saturday, rest can wait.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Ann Suplee. She is a care services manager at the ALS Association, and we are so grateful to have her here to talk about the programs and services available through the ALS Association. I want to remind everybody that ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, and it's a progressive disease that causes individuals to lose their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. The ALS Association is committed to making ALS livable until a cure is found. All right, before we return to Ann, I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with comprehensive end-of-life health care. The team at Minnesota Hospice provides patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life health care services. You may not be aware that hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services right to your home with typically no cost to you or your family. Please do not wait to learn how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. If you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available to answer your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's a registered nurse that will answer those calls. And their phone number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022. And you can talk with a registered nurse about any hospice questions you have. Or you can also visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, let's return to our conversation with Ann Suplee. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205. Or text us at 612-999-3426. And how can our listeners contact your organization if they have questions or want more information?
They can go to our website, als.org, and on there is a Contact Us button. You can also, if you have specific questions for care services staff, and I should say that my background is as a chaplain. The backgrounds of my colleagues are nurses and social workers and speech therapists, occupational therapists. So we sort of do wraparound services, and you can ask specifically for a care services person on our website.
Got it. Okay.
And they can always email info@als.org.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I would encourage people. It's a well-designed website, a lot of great information. And again, we just mentioned that you guys are coming up on your 40th anniversary, and I know this location you said supports Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, right?
So we're nationwide now.
That's true.
So
That's
I
right.
talk to people in Wisconsin and St. Louis and all over the place. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Well, third segment here, I'd like to make sure we do talk about the amazing services and programs available for people with ALS and their loved ones.
Yeah. So we have at the ALS Association, and I do want to say we partner with other organizations all the time. But for us, we have support groups all over Michigan and Wisconsin and Minnesota. A lot of them are online, are virtual, so people can come as long as they want to and can come from anywhere. I have somebody from California who regularly attends with people who are in Duluth and International Falls, and it's a really lovely community. We also have some really practical programs, things like our durable medical equipment program that I mentioned, where people need durable medical equipment. And because ALS is progressive, they don't need something for very long, maybe.
Sure.
And so they need a cane, and then they need a walker, and then they need a manual wheelchair. Maybe they're going to the Grand Canyon and they want a transport chair. And so they can just borrow things from us so that they're not buying. I mean, you could spend a fortune buying all that stuff. Yeah. We also have a very robust communication program. So if people are worried about losing their voice, we have a voice preservation program, and we collaborate with Team Gleason to do that. So they can preserve their voice so that if they need a communication device, their voice comes out of it.
Oh.
So they don't sound like
a robot.
Like a robot.
HAL,
exactly. Exactly. And I will say with AI now, the technology is really slick. It used to be that the voice was theirs, but it still came out very robotic. Yeah. And now with AI, they can add inflection and pauses, and it sounds much more fluid. So that's pretty cool. We have iPads and smart home technology, so people, if they can't turn on a light, they can just say, turn the channel on the TV, or tell me who's at my front door. And that's all free to people with ALS and their families.
Wow. How do people get connected with your organization? I'm just curious here. I want to get back to programs and things, but I'm just curious for people who are saying, well, how would someone know to even call you guys?
So sometimes they've Googled ALS and call.
Yeah.
Typically, and we really encourage people who have an ALS diagnosis, to get a second opinion.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And then to attend a multidisciplinary clinic. And we are really fortunate in our area to have a lot of them. And that is where a person goes to an appointment at, Hennepin, at the University of Minnesota, Mayo, Sanford, Avera, whoever, Froedtert. And the person sits in a room and they see occupational therapy, physical therapy, dietitian, the neurologist, a physical medicine doc, and everybody just comes in one after the other, and a person from the ALS Association. And then we talk as a team and say, what does this person need? So the physical therapist says, boy, they could really use a walker. I say, great, I'll have my coworkers send out a walker, what size, that kind of thing. Yeah. So typically we work really closely with those clinics, and so that's typically where people go for a diagnosis, and then they get connected to us because the doctor says, you need to call the ALS Association.
Does it require a referral?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's great to know, yeah.
Every once in a while, I was just talking to somebody the other day. She thought she had ALS, and that's what it looked like. And I called her the other day to check in, and she said, it's not. I'm starting a different program. And we got to celebrate that she doesn't have ALS and knows what to do next.
Yeah, right.
And so that happens too.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk more about the programs and services because, again, there's just a wealth of those that are available to people, to families, and to patients.
Yeah. And you mentioned a referral. They don't need a referral to get to us, but we do ask that for some of this equipment, the request comes from a physical therapist or an occupational therapist.
Oh, that makes sense. Right.
So we know that they can use a lift safely or that kind of thing.
Right. So it's the appropriate
DA
for a person. Yeah, got it.
We have a ramp program, and the really fun things that we do are like the Creative Pursuits program, which is classes specifically for those with ALS. And I know you had folks from McPhail on a few weeks ago. So McPhail people, not those people, but we have teachers from McPhail, from the Loft Literary Center. There's a visual arts club. There's a book club. They take classes around writing your life story. There are stand-up comedy classes. There was actually just a show at White Bear Center for the Arts of people's art. And there was one person who can't use their hands or feet anymore, and they created this method. My coworker, Liz Stanley, is phenomenal. Shout out to Liz.
Yes.
And this program. They worked to find a way that this person could paint using their wheelchair. And so they use this thing and can paint pictures. The other thing, and creating music with an ECMO app, and that's one of the things they did with McPhail.
Right.
One of the classes coming up is a journey with the South American harp with Nicholas Carter, who's a harpist about town. And so just really interesting avenues for people to explore who they are and be creative, even as they live with ALS.
Well, that's just innovative. Yeah. So just to frame my mind too, their mind is not impacted by the disease, or is it?
It can be.
Okay.
So probably 60% of people do experience some cognitive changes. It's typically frontal lobe, so it's executive function stuff. They can still remember things and interact with family, but it can be that frontal lobe can get affected, and it can, it's judgment.
Yep.
People say things or have people often talk about, I can't find the words anymore. I'm slower with word finding. And if it's really one of the first symptoms, they can be pretty destructive and pretty mean because they don't have that frontal lobe.
Right,
anymore.
Right. Well, we see that in dementia type of cases as well. So, and we talked about earlier, is it hard to diagnose ALS?
ALS is a diagnosis of exclusion. So basically, people go in with symptoms, and we have a great program created by the ALS Association called Think ALS that goes out to general practitioners to say, hey, before you go down the road of carpal tunnel surgery or spinal stenosis, spinal surgery, get a neurologist involved. Because we do hear about people having surgeries and it doesn't work.
Right.
So basically, you get to a neurologist, and the neurologist sort of cancels out everything else. Says, well, it's not Parkinson's, it's not MS, it's not this, it's not that. And eventually they come up with an ALS diagnosis based on EMG.
Okay. Very helpful. Great conversation. All right, folks, it's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our fascinating conversation with Ann Suplee. She's a care services manager at the ALS Association, and she is here to talk about the programs and services available through the ALS Association. If you have a question for Ann, this is the time to give her a call. We have one more segment left, folks. Please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or you can text us your question at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Step into a world of financial empowerment with the Do Different Better show. I'll be your host, Elaine Rasmussen. Join me Sundays at noon on AM 950 as we do a deep dive into wealth education with topics like investing, real estate, and entrepreneurship. No nonsense, tell it like it is, keeping it 100 for everyday people like you. Tune in to get practical insights to rewrite your financial future. So each Sunday at noon, let's do different better. You can hear Do Different Better anytime on your favorite app. Learn more about me at socialimpactnow.com.
Overwhelmed trying to make sense of Medicare? As a licensed advisor, I can help you determine your healthcare needs and evaluate your options. I'm Harvey Pearl of Pearl & Company, and I want you to have the peace of mind knowing you have the best coverage available. You deserve an advocate you can trust and coverage you can rely on. And there's no fee, ever. Annual enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. Call me now at 651-303-8889 so we can strategize together.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a
You
left.
are not going to
then
believe
what you're
this.
Gonna do is turn
Marcy
into
and
Marcy
Brad
Avenue
just broke up,
and go past
and
the
apparently
first 3
she's
lights,
happy
and
about
then take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
Then
think
drive
she's
5 more
happy,
blocks,
but
and you should be
who am
there.
I to judge, right?
Park on the
Anyway,
right.
that's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Hi, I'm Bruce Klopfleisch, a college political science instructor and attorney. Join me every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Politics Matters. We dive into how civics, politics, and law affect you. Discover how government impacts your daily life, from the federal level all the way down to your local city. Each week, I'll share my key takeaways and teaching moments on crucial civics concepts to help understand what is happening in the current political environment. That's Politics Matters with Bruce Klopfleisch, Sundays at 5 p.m. or anytime on your favorite podcast app.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Ann Suplee, a delightful person. I'm hoping you're enjoying her as much as I am. She is a care services manager and also a chaplain. But she's the Care Services Manager at the ALS Association, and she is here to talk about the programs and services and really just educate us about ALS and the ALS Association. I just want to remind everyone that ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive disease with no cure that causes individuals to lose their ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually breathe. And the ALS Association is committed to making ALS livable until a cure is found. And how can our listeners contact your organization if they have questions or want more information?
They can go to our website, als.org, and you can search by your state or just send in a generic question, and it will get to the right person.
Yeah, and let's remind people, too, that you guys are, donations are so critical to the research. We're going to talk about research this segment, but there's an easy way to donate. It's a donate button on the upper right-hand corner on the home page, and it's probably on every page, I bet. Yes.
Yes.
You won't be able to miss that. It's a donate with a red heart, and I know the association is so grateful for any donations. You guys have been doing this for almost 40 years. And a large portion of the funds that go towards research and support, and again, all these programs and services that you guys make available for free to patients that have ALS. So let's talk about some of the research and maybe some of the future hopes and dreams and plans for the ALS Association.
I think ALS research really. Well, I mean, the Ice Bucket Challenge is sort of the place it bloomed. We've always done research, of course. Yeah. A lot of organizations do. But boy, the Ice Bucket Challenge really pushed us into the stratosphere. Since Ice Bucket Challenge, which was 10 years ago now,
wow.
We have committed over $154 million to more than 500 almost 600 projects worldwide. So we are the largest funder of research. Research is expensive, man. It's just out of control. Since Ice Bucket, before that we knew about 2 different genetic markers. In 7 to 10% of people, ALS is familial.
Oh. Okay.
And we now, I think we're up to 36, 38 something genetic markers. So that we call them all ALS. But the research has just exploded. And there is a treatment now for people with one of the genetic markers. The first one we knew about, SOD1, SOD1. And it seems really promising. I know somebody, Mark, who... I mean, he's better than he was. It's easier to understand him, and who knows?
Yeah.
So it's very promising. And again, our goal is that ALS is a livable disease by 2030. Doesn't mean it'll be cured by then.
Right.
But that people will be able to live and live well with ALS.
And remind me about the disease progression or disease duration. What is the typical length of time that a person has ALS?
Yeah. Typically you hear 2 to 5 years from diagnosis to death. Mm-hmm. For some people it's shorter. For some people it's longer. I know somebody who 16 years in, 23 years in, they're still they're still living well. They're not being supported with breathing machines at all. They're just living with ALS. And other people have really slow progressions and are like, well, got to live life while you can.
Boy, I hope that the things people take away from this is, number one, you're just an amazing representative of the ALS Association. Just, again, the love, the passion that people bring to the show here, that they're part of all these wonderful organizations. But also the fact that you guys are striving so hard to make this a livable disease. And that's why the services and programs that you guys have are so helpful. Because, like you say, it's such a financially devastating disease.
It can be, yes, absolutely.
And again, the programs you offer to help support people with, like you say, it's a terminal, progressive, and so the things that people may need when they start out in the disease they won't need later on. And so you guys have, again, equipment and things that people can use as they go through the disease trajectory.
Right. And I will say, part of my passion is because as I'm talking, I'm thinking about people that we serve, or that I have served over the years I've been there. We have a Metro Mingle once a month where people come in the metro area, come into the office in St. Paul, and they just talk. We don't do anything other than make coffee, and they laugh so much. Everyone's all like, "What's going on in there? Are you all part of this comedy club class?" But the camaraderie and the intimacy that people are like, "This is my best friend. I had no idea," and that can be developed and created and supported. And so that's really what we want, is people to live well. And that's my job, is to help people live well.
Right. What a great job.
What a great gig.
What a great gig. Well, I think the other thing, too, that I've noticed with other diseases is that isolation is so we have to break the isolation, because, like you say, getting together, doing the Metro Mingle, the human spirit can come out on those. And it's just, like you say, the laughter, the engagement, the socialization. And so I'd encourage anybody to contact you guys.
Yeah, and if people want a really good time, our Superhero Dash is coming up May 17th. It's in St. Paul, so it's not, we're headed into winter here. Yep. But people dress up as superheroes, and they get teams together, and there's a kids run, and it's so fun. And just, again, a community building, way to celebrate.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to have you back on before that happens.
That's right. That's right.
To promote that, because I know there's.
I'll bring my coworker John, who makes that happen.
What? We've got 3 mics here, and we can have a great round table. And there's so many. There's walks and events for all kinds of organizations and support. But let's make sure we get you back on the show for that one.
ALS.org.
ALS.org. All right, we're at the end of the show, folks. Thank you for joining us today. And Ann Suplee, a Care Services Manager at the ALS Association, and thank you for being here to talk about the programs and services available through the ALS Association. And how can our listeners contact you or your organization if they have questions?
ALS.org.
All right. And then
Thanks so much.
There's a donate button in the upper right-hand corner.
That's
Check that, please, folks. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation. You can reach us anytime by phone or by text at 612-999-3426. Join us again next Saturday at noon for another broadcast. And thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. Until next time, please choose to live well.